Hey, it's Christina with KG Homeschool Consulting. Today I want to talk to you about school planners, or the lack of them in our homeschool. I know that many of you have probably already purchased homeschool planners, or you've already printed yours, you've got everything ready to go and are so excited to use it. And I apologize if this video takes the wind out of your sails. If you do already have your planner, use it. I know lots of homeschool moms who use planners and they love it. So give it a try. That's the beauty in homeschooling, is there are hundreds of different ways to homeschool and you get to pick and choose. Okay, so I know that feeling that comes over us when we get our nice, new, shiny, crisp planner and we've got special pens for it and the excitement over the first day of school when we get to use it. But I also know what happens when a couple months down the road hits and I toss those cute little stickers, and then goes the Post-its, and eventually I'm just throwing some words down on that bad boy with a pencil that I found down the crack of the couch. This would happen to me every single year, and it took a few cycles before I started to even realize it, and I had to ask myself, what was the problem? And I realized that I was spending minutes, sometimes hours of my precious time filling this thing out, making it look pretty, when it really wasn't serving a purpose. And it was really just a time sucker for me. So I quickly realized that simplicity is key with this sort of thing. You want to use your time wisely when you're homeschooling because you don't have a lot of it. And so I asked myself, well, what is the purpose of my day planner? And it is to keep track of what I need to do each day, what my kids need to do each day, and also for record keeping. Well, I realized it would be much easier to just go into Microsoft Word. Google Docs didn't exist back when I was beginning my homeschooling journey, or if it did, it wasn't on my radar. But I could just go on Microsoft Word and I could just type in what we need to do each day. And this was cool because I could just customize it to our needs. So when my kids were younger, we did all of our activities together, and so it was just all right there. After that, my kids got a little older, and so I started splitting it up by their names. But here you can see this would be an example that I typed up this morning. So I might have up here any activities that we have going on, and then I have each child. Matilda, she has math, language arts, botany, typing. Harvey Doodle over there has math, language arts, cursive, and botany. And so I would just make a list. This would take me like 15 minutes, and the cool thing about this is that I didn't have to write it over and over. In a planner, you have to write down math lesson, math lesson, math lesson every day, but this I just copy and paste. And then in each of my kids, I would just print out their portion and put that on a clipboard, and then they could just check it off throughout their school day. About halfway through this process, I realized something. I didn't get why we were writing down so much information on the planner. Why do I have to write math lesson 14 when my child knows and I know that we're just going to complete the very next lesson that we left off with? Why do I need to say read chapter 5 if my child reads one chapter every single day? So I even further simplified it. Unless I had to write page numbers, if they were covering half of a chapter, or if I had to, tell my child to write a paragraph about something, then yes, I would do the details. But for the most part, I would write minimal, just what I needed to do to remember what we needed to cover. Okay, so this worked great for a few years. There were a couple of problems with it. The first, my kids' schedules that I would print out and put on a clipboard. I would find those under the couch. I would find them with a million pen stab holes in them or doodles all over the page, and they were not very helpful for the most part. The other problem was accountability. So I would have to go and find that planner, my printout, if a child came to me and said, well, what am I supposed to do next? And I'm in the kitchen with chicken juice all over my hands, and I've got to figure out what they're supposed to do next. So the accountability part was an issue. And so I started to think about these things, and realized that it would be so helpful if we had a central location where everything was listed and we could see it from several different rooms. So we ditched our homeschool planner. And now I would like to introduce you to my friend, Eleanor. She and I have been through some tough times, and I can't homeschool without her. Alright, so this board sits in between my kitchen and my living room, so everyone can see it. Those are pretty much the main rooms where we are homeschooling, so everyone can see it at any point of the day. This is extremely important because my children know exactly what needs to be done, and I know exactly what needs to be done. We both can look at the board and see what has already been completed. This helps us keep track and holds us accountable. So if I am in the kitchen and somebody says, hey, what do I need to do next? I can glance over at this board and say, oh, you haven't done your botany. Go do that. And as you can see, I have dinner down in the corner, so I get asked like 20 times a day, what's for dinner? They can just go and look at the board now. At the top, I usually have a neat little encouraging message, quote, or scripture or something like that at the top. And I also list their chores, and I can also list their activities. So everything is in one place. So Harvey over here has to take the trash out. Matilda forgets to take her vitamins, so I can just write that on there. So everything has to be checked out before they can have their free time, or our motivation is to have everything checked off, and then they can have their screen time, or they can go outside and play with friends. Those are great incentives for us. They work. Everybody gets their lists, gets their check marks done, and they can't lie about it because I will be checking their schoolwork that evening. So they can't get away with any lies. This has been life-changing for me because, as I said, it holds us accountable. I can see it at any point in the day. I can individualize it to each child and for each family. You know, you can put your needs on there, whether you want to list their chores or their activities or anything like that. It's super fast. I can erase. I can add to it. This has just been so awesome. We've been using it for the last few years, and I love it. Now, you may be asking, well, how do you do the record keeping for your state? Well, your curriculum is your record keeper. So, you know, usually the state's going to want to see your kids' work. They're not going to want to see your day planner. You keep your kids' work, and if you need to turn it in, then you turn in the schoolwork. You don't need to turn in a planner. So the only thing I print out is our attendance sheet, just a simple box attendance sheet, and we just check off the days as we homeschool. Super simple, super easy, right? But this board is about 18 inches by 24 inches, and I wrote really big on here, so if you're thinking I have way more subjects on there than what she has listed, I wrote big, so I can fit easily 9 or 10 things on here. I can, you know, if my middle schooler has a paragraph, I can fit that in there, write a paragraph about, you know, what so-and-so thought about this. I can write that information on here. But again, I do keep it really simple, so I don't put, you know, math lesson 10, 12, 14, ocean unit study. They know just to do the next lesson. So unless there's specific pages that they have to do, I don't add those in. And I did have 4 kids on here, so you could easily fit 4 kids on this size board. My high schooler, since she's doing all her work individually and she is above us lesser family members, she has her own little mini board that she has her list on. So you can fit 4 kids on there pretty easy, dinner, quotes. You could even do more kids on there, I'm sure, if you just structure it a little bit differently, or just buy a bigger board if that works for you. You can hang it on the wall, you can prop it on a shelf, just keep it somewhere where it's visible and out of reach of those toddlers who like to lick things and erase things. If your child is not reading yet, that's not a problem. You just kind of help them with the board, help them read it. And actually, my son could read what his board said before he could even read, because he would see those words, handwriting, science, history, math, every single day he was being exposed to them, so he actually knew what they said. He used this board totally independently when he was probably second grade. So it is manageable even for kids of all ages. Well, that is it. I'm so excited I got to share with you guys about Eleanor today. I love that it only takes me 5 minutes to lesson plan every day, or either in the evening or in the morning. And if you have that homeschool planner already, maybe you already have one that you love, use it. If you get to the month of December and you start thinking about this video, maybe you have an Eleanor in your future. Well, that is it for today. You guys can check me out on Facebook at KG Homeschool Consulting. You guys have an awesome day. Remember to wear that superhero cape proud, because you are doing an awesome job. Take care.